During your voyage of discovery, we'll explore the vast hidden history of happenings, both new and old. Happenings that have occurred or are happening now, in and around these shores. As we now set our course into the deeper waters, please now listen carefully to the following safety announcement. In accordance with our United Kingdom maritime law, the Forth bell is more than well equipped to deal with any eventuality whilst at sea. In the very unlikely event of an emergency, you will hear 7 long blasts of the ship's horn. You must simply return to your seats and remain calm. That's simply after 7 long blasts of the ship's horn.
It's quite nice in terms of water, weather. So we're going to head up under the bridge, have a look at the new bridge construction, then we'll head down to Inchcolm Island.
It's 5 of you, yeah? Where's the 5? That's your ticket, yeah? Right, okay. That's your ticket, yeah?
The technique for spinning wire suspension cables was first developed by John Roebling. Moving with the wind or when large lorries pass you by, it goes up and it goes down, up to 4 meters up and down. It's designed to move with load and temperature. If you walk over it, beside each of the main pillars on the pavement, you can stand astride the expansion joints. On a windy day, your legs will move together, then apart. In high winds, the car deck can move up to 7 meters side to side. 1964. The Forth road bridge now carries over 2 million vehicles every month. And so, by weight, far more traffic than the bridge was ever engineered for. But that was never designers' fault. Who at that time would ever have dreamt that an everyday family would have 2 cars? And who would have dreamt that lorries would carry 60 tons? A new crossing is now on its way to complement the road bridge, and it's on schedule to start in 2011. The third crossing is estimated to cost around £2.3 billion. The proposed new cable-stayed bridge, not a suspension bridge. It will be 2.7 kilometres long with 3 single-column towers. The addition of windshielding will protect high-sided vehicles, unlike today, when the road bridge can be forced to close in stormy weather. The existing road bridge that we see today will become a dedicated public transport corridor.
The main supports, that is going to go right over our heads, the bridge. And the last support will be in beside that yellow barge on our left-hand side, in at the shoreline there. And the trees are all cleared away up the hillside where the road's going to arrive on the Edinburgh side. So that's the line of the new bridge, we're almost directly underneath it. And one of the caissons has been
Over on the other shore, you may see the harbour and marina. This is Port Edgar. Port Edgar is named after a man who kept his fleet of battleships there, way back in the 11th century. His name? Edgar Atheling. Edgar was the little brother of Queen Margaret. He also became a king, albeit only for 8 weeks, but Edgar Atheling was his name. Slightly peculiar. Atheling. Atheling means the exile or noble person. It wasn't his real name. In Anglo-Saxon times, nobody Youth in Queensferry and around these shores, writing and drawing. His name? Robert Louis Stevenson.
downstairs to the bar to organise that ticket. It's Historic Scotland, it's their fee for going in the island and visiting an abbey. It's similar to going to Edinburgh Castle.
Around both shores there are over 120 golf courses. Golf originated in Leith and was made famous in St Andrews in Fife. We expect two men from Dunfermline opened America's very first golf course. It only had 3 holes, and still does. It's in Yonkers in New York. Charles Darwin studied botany along these shores. That was after he discovered that he fainted at the sight of blood, so becoming a surgeon was not a good idea. He went on to write Origin of the Species. Adam Smith from Kirkcaldy. He exported his book, A Wealth of Nations, promoting world trade. He was the inventor of what we call now economics. Andrew Carnegie, the ruthless industrialist but generous philanthropist. He left Dunfermline behind the bridges. He sailed to America. So, in a few moments, we will be docking on Inchcolm Island. The crew will make the ship safe for your disembarkation. We will look forward to seeing you again on our return. But please, remain on board the ship if you would like to continue our voyage, eventually taking us all the way back to Queensferry. Nowadays in peacetime, Inchcolm Island is a truly wonderful place to visit, or even just to look at. A truly remarkable place with a history going back in time as far as anybody can. Solitude and tranquility, a haven for wildlife. The island is now maintained by Historic Scotland, but the main feature here, of course, is the magnificent Augustinian Abbey, Scotland's most complete example of a monastic house. In former times, and perhaps partly due to its dedication to Columba, the island was nicknamed Iona of the East. The well-preserved abbey and ruins of the 9th century hermit's cell do attract visitors to the island, and some of the visitors even get married here. They say that this island has been detect enemy U-boats. When a vessel passes over the coils, the vessel acts like a magnet, thereby producing a small current in the coil. The galvanometers either side of the Forth would then register, and then an attack would be set in motion.
That's very cute.
Iya naman. Tiba-tiba kan. Nah, video ya gitu. Assalamualaikum. 注意下的了嘛。
all 75 passengers were killed. The worst rail disaster in Scottish history. Botch was disgraced. The establishment no longer trusted his designs. In the aftermath of this disaster, the requirements for a bridge over the Forth were reassessed. The railway needed to cross the Forth. Designers Sir John Fowler and Benjamin Baker came up with the cantilever arrangement that we see now. What resulted was a marvel of Victorian engineering and a span so massively overbuilt that it barely moves in even the heaviest wind. To this day, we have a saying in the English language that occurred because of the Tay Rail disaster. If you make a bad job of something, you would say, "I've made a right old botch of that," a botched job. The rail bridge was formally completed on the 4th of March 1890, when His Royal Highness Edward, Prince of Wales, tapped into place the traditional golden rivet, the last rivet of over 7.5 million rivets used. 57 men lost their lives building the Forth Rail Bridge. Men who had come from all corners of the world: Canada, America, Poland and Hungary. It was the largest civil engineering structure achieved during the 19th century and probably only made possible by the use of the cantilever principle. The island below the bridge, Inchcolm Island. This island is known for its supporting role in holding up the cantilevers of this iconic rail bridge. But it's also known as an island that was used as a state prison and is also a place where people suffering from the Great Plague were sent for isolation. They say that at one time the island was infested with the most fearsome rats of monster proportions. This island is also the island that held off the father of the American Navy during the Wars of Independence. Rear Admiral in the Russian Navy as well, John Paul Jones could be described as more. This island is probably worth its weight in gold, so to speak. It was always the tradition that when travelling over the bridge by train, as a child, you would throw a penny out of the window. But unless the coins actually landed on the island, they will now be lost forever. You see, the British Geological Survey has found that Inchcolm Island is not quite what it seems. It was left behind when the Ice Age glaciers carved their way out to sea. Imagine there's no water here. If you can picture the rock that Edinburgh Castle sits on, the volcanic plug, and also the craggy tail of the Royal Mile, exactly the same extreme rock formation lies below us now. Inchcolm is the summit of the mountain. 2 years after the railway bridge opened in 1892, an accident resulted in a coal freighter, the Augustinian, well over 200 feet in length, sinking. She slid her way down the sheer cliffs of the mountain to where she lies now, lost, probably surrounded by all those coins.